hand you over to a second speaker, sorry. This lady, as you know, is extremely brave. I'll give her the same introduction, but I'll do it again. She's confronted more mad mullahs than the SAS. She's been in more mosques than your average imam. She's been toe-to-toe with terrorists. It's the bravest woman in Britain, the Deputy Leader of Britain First, Jayda Fransen.
Well, once again, thank you very much for my intro. So I'd like to start, as I always do, I'd like to start by saying thank you to everyone here. And do you know what? Actually, standing here, I actually feel quite choked up because we've been here a few times now and it's such a wonderful sight. I can see so many familiar faces. I know a lot of you are locals. And this almost feels like home, genuinely. I mean, you can probably hear that I'm from London. I don't think I can disguise that. But we've spent so much time here, and this is such a sad and contentious issue that I really feel like we're living it with you, and I'm really, really pleased that you've all come out today. So give yourselves all a round of applause for coming. We gave them a cheer as they came in, but I'd also just like to say a big thank you to our flag bearers. Don't they just look brilliant today? I mean, this is great to see. This is a brilliant way to remember our war heroes, you know, because this is what our boys, our men would have been putting these uniforms on, and they would have been holding their heads high, and they would have been fighting for this nation. So, well done, guys. You've done a brilliant job so far. So I know we've had you all lower them, but just looking out, I can see flags from all over. And I know I've been speaking to lots of people here today. There are people from all over Britain, all over the world. You know, I've been speaking to people who are from ethnic minorities that have said, you know, this isn't about race. This isn't about the fact that I'm a Christian and you might be Sikh, you might be Buddhist, you might be atheist. We're all patriots and we've all come together because our children are at risk. So these flags being held, hold them proudly. These are our flags and we will die for these flags if we have to. We did put this to a public vote, in fact. Last time we went on a big rally, we decided that we would put it out to the public and ask them where should Britain First go next. And it was almost unanimous. 2 online polls, almost unanimous. Come back to Rotherham. The public voted for us to come back here. So when these people say, why are you here? You're a Londoner. Or when these people say, why are you here with your Welsh flag? Our Welsh activists are here, our Ulster activists, our Scottish activists. This affects every single one of us. We're here because the people of Rotherham... Now, I'm just going to briefly say that Paul and I have been advised by our legal team that we need to be careful what we say because we have a high court injunction on us at the moment, as you're probably all aware. So as you probably know, being careful of what I say is not my forte, but I'll give it a go, okay? So let's just, talk about why we're here. We know why we're here. There's lots of familiar faces. You know, you've turned out at our other events. It must be really difficult actually for the people of Rotherham because so many victims, so many. I mean, 1,400 that we know of came forward. That's just that came forward. How many didn't? How many took their lives? How many turned to drugs? You know, how many have never come forward with their story? But 1,400 alone will affect everyone. Everyone in this town. Everyone. I mean, the average secondary school, now let's cast our minds back, because I know some of us will have to think back a bit further than others. I think these gentlemen here won't have to go back as far as I do, but can we all remember our first day at secondary school? Not that long ago, not that long ago. Do you remember looking around and thinking, my God, there are hundreds of children here, and I'm just one small child in a huge school. The victims that have come forward could fill 2 entire secondary schools. That means You stand in your secondary school, every single one of those children would have been tampered with, raped, tortured, doused in petrol by Muslim grooming gangs. That's the extent of this scandal. And these police that have turned out in force today should have turned out in force 16 years ago. Now, the media have turned out today, and I've had a few interviews, and my colleague Paul Golding's had a few interviews, and we've told them straight how we feel. But one thing that keeps popping up in the media is the description of the perpetrators of these crimes, the description of the monsters that carried out these atrocities. And do you know what the description I keep seeing is? Asian. Now, I would just like to point out that my Sikh brothers and sisters did not go and rape 1,400 children. My fellow Christians from Pakistan did not rape 1,400 children. And it wasn't Chinese Buddhists that raped 1,400 children. Now the authorities might be scared, but I'm not scared and you're not scared. It was Muslims that raped these children.
Jayda! Go on, Jayda, get out to neutral now.
These are the Muslims. These Muslims idolise a false prophet, Muhammad.
Paedophile.
These Muslims follow an evil and barbaric ideology. And they worship Satan, who is posing as God.
Yeah.
Now, you tell me, we know a bit about Islam, don't we? I'm sure we all do. We've all done our research and we put enough information out there.
Perfect example of that.
These Muslims who follow their false prophet Muhammad, they consider him to be the perfect human.
No.
That's what he's described as. Now let's just look into Islam a little bit, because I think we all know a bit about Muhammad. If there's anything we do know, it's that he married a 6-year-old girl and had sex with her when she was 9. This is what these people think is perfect. Is that a perfect human? Does a perfect human rape a 9-year-old girl?
No!
But that's what these people are following. And the media want to portray it as Asian. They're not Asian, they're Muslims.
Muslims! Monsters! Criminals!
Now, I just want to, because a lot of people say, oh, but I've spoken to, it's particularly lefties, but I've spoken to Muslims and that's not right. She wasn't 6, she wasn't 9. Okay, here we go. You're all familiar with the Quran and you're all familiar with the Hadith. They are the holy Islamic scriptures. This particular one was narrated by Aisha herself, Aisha being the child bride of the Prophet Muhammad. Aisha states, "My mother came to me while I was being swung on a swing between 2 branches and got me down. I was then brought in while the messenger of God Muhammad was sitting on a bed in our house. My mother made me sit on his lap. The messenger of God consummated his marriage with me in my house when I was 9 years old." These aren't my words. These are the words of the little girl who was sat on the lap of a 52-year-old man and then raped. And you find me one Muslim that will stand here and condemn this man, this vile false prophet, who's now dead, who wasn't resurrected like Jesus Christ, who was left to die. You get me a Muslim, come and stand here and tell me that Muhammad is vile, he's a paedophile. None of them will, because they worship him. And there's your problem. I had this argument, you may have seen. We went to visit the taxi drivers in Rotherham. Yeah. I tell you why we went, because I couldn't believe it. I could not believe that the media are portraying this as a select few Muslims who aren't devout. Real Muslims, they say, wouldn't condone this. So I thought, okay, well, here we go. Let's see the hordes of Muslims take to the streets and protest. No one did. No one did. Do you know when they protested? When the council said you have to put a CCTV in your car so that the kids don't get raped in the back of your taxi. All we want is a CCTV camera in that car watching the kids. What did they do? They came out and said no.
So much to hide. A lot to hide.
If you didn't have anything to hide, you'd have a camera in that car.
Correct.
So we confronted the taxi drivers, and lo and behold, none of them condemned the Prophet, none of them condemned these actions. All they cared about was not having a camera in the car. Strikes me a bit strange. So this is what we're dealing with, and the authorities are protecting these people. The authorities in this country are corrupt and treacherous. They have given away our country. They've given away our houses. They've given away our benefits. They're giving preferential treatment to people who don't respect our land over veterans on the street. And over my dead body, are they going to give away our kids? Now, Britain First have been leading the campaign in this regard, and we have been back several times, and despite what the media might portray, it's actually because the public are calling us back, and we're happy to keep coming back. I just want you all to know that we'll be back as many times as you want us here.
Can I ask one question, please?
We've been and confronted many officials. I've stood on the doorstep of the previous head of social services who turned a blind eye to this for 16 years, Joyce Thacker. I banged on her front door and I told her I'll be back and back and back until I see her resign or hang. We've held protests outside the police station. We've invaded the council offices. We've stormed the taxi ranks. And I don't know about you, ladies and gents, but I'm not even prepared to stop until every single child is safe in Rotherham. So let the police try and sabotage our efforts. It won't work.
No.
We are living in a modern day crusade. This is our crusade. The war has begun. Make no doubt about it. And this is a Christian country, and my faith, my Christian faith tells me to fear no evil. Now, we have people here from all faiths. We have people here who are of no faith. We have people here from all different races. It doesn't matter. I tell you what binds us. As patriots, every single one of us, we are all one. Every child that suffered, our nation suffered. Every child that cried, we cry with them. And every single child that bled at the hands of these monsters, it might as well have been our blood. So for that reason and for these children, we have to rise up. We owe it to these children. This was a calculated and blatant attack on our people, our culture and our future. Britain First will never stop, and we hope that you will join us in taking